those leg kicks are not to be messed with. But one of them sunk in early, and Thiago said that was a good one. And I was in my head thinking, yeah, bastard, it was a good one.
In this video, I'll be breaking down the anatomy of the lower limb, going through the bones, muscles, and nerves to try and explain from a medical perspective why it was that Conor McGregor lost his fight to Dustin Poirier as a result of those brutal, debilitating, yet extremely effective calf kicks.
There's no doubt that leg kick was that right leg up.
This calf kick you can flick. You know, you can flick it like a jab and just catch the top of the calf, and it's...
Oh, that leg's beat up, man.
So here we have a full skeleton. Now what I'm going to do is I'm firstly going to zoom in into the lower limb. So let's go with lower limb right. So there we go. There's an image of the lower limb. Now as you can see here, there are two main bones of the lower limb. You have a much meatier bone, which we call the tibia, and then next to it you have a much smaller bone, and that is called the fibula. The significance of this fibula is that about 15 to 20% of your entire weight bearing capacity is from your fibula. Now the calf kick is directed directly against this small bone, and a very effective and powerful calf kick can in fact break this bone completely, and therefore your ability to weight bear on your leg is significantly diminished. And if you can't weight bear on your leg, this is going to significantly affect your ability to not only fight but also defend yourself. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add on a layer of nerves. So here we go, nerves, and we'll add on a layer of nerves. So this common fibular nerve, it travels down the back of your thigh, and then what it does is it passes over something called your fibular head. Now if you bend your knee, you can usually feel a little bump on your knee, and that is the common fibular head. Now the common fibular nerve actually passes just beneath that fibular head, and therefore it passes very close to the surface of your leg, meaning that it's susceptible to damage. So a calf kick can not only break the bone, but it can also directly damage this nerve, and that's what we call in the trade a traumatic neuropraxia. Now what is the significance of a traumatic neuropraxia to this nerve? Well, let's add on another layer of nerves, and let's zoom in a bit further. Now as you can see, the common fibular nerve has two main branches. One is called the superficial branch, i.e. passes closer to the surface, and this superficial branch is responsible for providing sensation to your lower leg. So damage to your common fibular nerve is going to shut down any feeling whatsoever that you have of your lower leg. And also you have another branch, and this is called the deep fibular nerve. Now the deep fibular nerve branch, this is responsible for providing innervation to the muscles of your lower limb. More specifically, the muscles that it innervates is responsible for being able to move your foot upwards, and that is something we call dorsiflexion.
Like I said about the calf, you can't take many because there's nowhere for the swelling to go. So that's why it's so painful and debilitating. Your nerves and your foot kind of stop working with you. It's bad stuff.
So just to recap what we have here, we have Conor McGregor, who has a potentially broken fibula, who definitely has a reduced weight bearing capacity on his leg. He also has lost pretty much all feeling of his lower limb, and also he's now lost movement of his leg as well. Now this is going to put him in a significant disadvantage, as he's essentially in a cage with a trained assassin, and we're not even done yet. Now let's add a layer of muscle. Okay, so now we've added a layer of muscle. Let's zoom out a bit. Let's add another layer here. So now, as you can see, if I rotate a bit, this muscle here is very small. Now knowing the exact names of the muscles in the lower limb, exactly what they do, that's not quite important for the purposes of this video. What is important is to notice the size of this muscle. This muscle is much smaller than, let's say, the muscles at the front of your leg, your quadriceps. It's way smaller. Now most of you have probably felt at some point in your life something called a dead leg. Essentially, you have damage to the quadriceps, the muscles at the front of your leg, and pretty much, you've lost, a lot of feeling. You have a lot of stiffness in your leg. You can't really feel much, and that lasts, for a fair bit of time.
I had no leg.
Now imagine a force significantly greater than that impacting a muscle that is comparatively way smaller. Your whole leg is just going to shut down. So not only does this muscle provide little protection to the bone and to the nerves, but the muscle in and of itself can be very, very easily damaged because it's a very small muscle.
Yeah, there's no meat there either. I was explaining to someone, I'm like, just karate chop your arm right here where the bone is. Yeah. It hurts just to do that. Now imagine someone kicking that. And that's what it's like when you get kicked in the calf. There's nothing there. There's no meat.
Moreover, because the muscle is so small and can be easily damaged, you can essentially have bleeding within that muscle, and that is called a hematoma. And that is responsible for the color, that really purpley, swollen look that Conor McGregor had of his lower limb.
Below my knee is literally like a football or an American football inside me suit pants.
The moral of the story here is fighting is a thinking man's game. Now, Dustin Poirier had a very, very effective, clear game plan that he executed to extreme success, and that was the reason why he won the fight. If you like this different style of video, make sure you comment down below. As always, Meducation Nation, over and out.